DIDX offers communication companies to offer DID phone numbers from around the world. DIDX has numbers from over 60 countries and over 9,000 cities with instant activation and low monthly rates. These numbers can be used for calling card, VoIP, callback, call forwarding, PBXs, mobile phones, voicemail, faxing or any other voice service you can think of. Numbers are also available on per channel, per minute and per trigger basis. In addition, you will be provided with 2 free numbers to test the compatibility and interconnection with your switch. All buying is done through your own website, with DIDX running transparently in the background, provisioning the phone numbers through your server over SIP. Our API and web service will empower you to integrate entire DIDX inventory of numbers on your website, enabling your site to have millions of phone number choices instantly. Your company gains an excellent reputation with increased revenue, more satisfied customers, and a global presence. Try out today and see what over 20,000 companies have already discovered. DIDX.net.
Most people who are beyond 69 would want to retire, not work anymore. A lot of people do work philanthropically and other work. But I personally, since I met you, I feel that you're more doing it for philanthropic reasons than for monetary reasons. I don't know. What keeps you going for the next 30 years? You want to be 100, you want to invent another baby.
Yes.
Feel like it. What keeps you going? I mean, most people don't want to move at your age.
Well,
I'm done.
That's a question to do with the reason for working, the reason for living. You know, when you wake up in the morning, why are you there? What do you want to do? Now, most people, and these are the results of multiple business surveys, want to retire. Why? Because they don't want to work. Why don't they want to work? Because they don't enjoy it. You look at all the geniuses in every field, whether that be science, whether it be business, whether it be military, whether it be political, whether it be poetry, whatever the geniuses were, when did they retire? They never did. Why? Because they couldn't wait to work. Because working was not a negative thought. It was play. They couldn't wait to get up in the morning and go into their science laboratory and play, or go into their art studio and play, or go with their musical instrument and experiment and play, or do sport. And they couldn't wait to do that. And when people would say, stop playing the violin, stop doing the training, get out of the gym, whatever. No, 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 I want to stay. So every 69-year-old person should wake up and think, John, what do I really want to do? How do I want to play? Not, I want to retire. And one of the beacons for my life is my own beloved mum. And she passed on when she was 94 years, 4 months and 4 days. And when she was 65, she was teaching at a university. And she was teaching at a university because when she was 55, she had no degree, no qualifications, and she suddenly thought, I'm Jean Buzan, I want a degree. So she went to university at the age of 55 and got a first-class master's degree in gerontology.
What is gerontology?
Gerontology is studying the process of aging. So Mum was lecturing in that, and at the age of 65, she had to retire. Because the laws said that when the human being is 65, it has to retire. So Mum, she presented her thoughts to the university, and she said how crazy you are. I am 65. I have just begun to enter the age that I am studying, that I have my degree in, and I'm entering that age. And you're now telling me I can't teach that? You're insane. So she went off and she made a business card for herself when she was 65. And she said, it said, Jean M. Buzan, retired, and really ready to carry on. And the retired word was spelt R-E-T-Y-R-E-D, retired, new tires put on. And she obviously continued to talk. She couldn't wait to be talking and lecturing and on the media. And when she was 70, they were going to put her on television. It was her birthday, and she was 70. And the interviewer didn't know who she was. And she came down a spiral staircase and landed on the stage. And this 40-ish-year-old interviewer said, "My God, Mrs. Buzan, you don't look 70. And my mum, the first thing she ever said on television, she said, "Young man, I am 70. If I am 70, I look 70. You, young man, think that I wasn't 70, but I am 70. And therefore what you think about 70 is not 70. This is what 70 is. And because I am, that's obviously what 70 looks like." And to his credit, he said, "Mrs. Buzan, I apologize. You are absolutely correct. You look the age you are." And many people think that older means shriveled and bent and slow and lost the brain cells and becoming stupid, and that's what old means. Not at all. Depends what you believe it to be. Because if you think that old is going to be weak and poor, you will become that. But if you realize that being 70 is very young, and all the energy is compounding, the connectivity is increasing, who at 70 is going to want to retire? No one will want to retire. And the sad news there is that often people who retire, within 3 years of retiring, no matter what age they are, within 3 years, gone. Why? Because the poor brain is thinking, I'm finished, nothing to contribute, no energy, can't learn anymore, what's the point? Boom. Whereas the intelligent older brain says, boy, a whole bunch of possible days to live, let's explore more, learn more, help more.
Today is 2013 and you want to achieve by 2023 something, a really brilliant goal, which I heard earlier. What is that?
Yeah, my own personal goal is global mental literacy. I want every child in the world to know everything that we've talked about and more, to know about the brain, to know more about learning the relationship between brain and body, the mens sana in corpore sano, healthy body, healthy mind, healthy body. And I want everybody to know that. Now when I go around in the school, I will often ask children in all countries, how many of you know about your brain? Not many know. How many of you know about note-taking and thinking? How many of you know about memory? And they don't. And I think, no, they all need to know that. So my goal, as with the mind maps, and as with the lecturing, and with my books, and with this, is simply get those seeds out. Send out the good news. Spread the good news. Let all those young children know how good their brains are. Let all those older people realize they ain't on the way out. They're on the way up if they decide to do that, if they regenerate. So, how long is my goal? When do I want the world to be globally mentally literate? Now. I want it now. When do I think it will happen? I think within the next few years, and definitely by 2022, because I had that vision of global mental literacy in my next 30 years.
So what are the 10 things you want to ask in 2022 to those children which you want to know the answers for in their heads?
10 questions.
Any 5, 10, 15?
Right. The questions that I ask of children, and I want wonderful responses to those, would be, for example, how many of you believe you are not particularly creative? Most children say that because they've been suppressed. I want all the children to say, yes, I'm fantastically creative, because they are. I want to ask a question, do you know about how to take notes in the best form? And at the moment, most people say, well, I don't quite know, and linear and boring, whatever. Mind maps. I want every child to know that mind mapping is the tool for their brain. I want to ask them, what are you interested in? And what are you not interested in? Now, normally, if I ask children, what are you not interested in? They will name them. Leonardo da Vinci says that everything is connected to everything else, which is true. And if everything is connected to everything else, then everything is interesting, as a baby is interested in everything. So when I ask children, what are you interested in? I want a chorus of everything. I then want to ask them, how many of you know how your memory works? How does it actually work? Have you been trained? Do you know how to remember anything you want to remember, including numbers, including images, including stories, including literature, including names and faces? Everything. How many of you know how your memory works and is magical? And I want all of them to say, yes, I do. Give me anything, Professor Buzan, to remember, and I can remember it, they will say. I want to ask yet another question. What is the relationship between your brain and your body? Is there a relationship? And what do you think the relationship is? Now, most children don't know about that, or they even think that being intelligent is being weak, being half blind, being non-social, being a negative image of a nerd. I want them all to say, I know the relationship between brain and body, and I know that the healthier my body is, the more healthy my mind, and I know the more healthy my mind, the healthier my body. So the children you will meet, I want to meet, will all be radiant, and they'll be radiant healthily, and they'll be radiant as human beings. They'll be like light, they'll be like stars, they'll be like suns. I want to ask them, what do you know about the left and right side of your brain? So the next question I would ask is, do you know about the left and right sides of your cortex, and do you therefore know about your cognitive skills? And I want them all to say, of course I know